All right, so let's get started. Yeah, it seems like this thing that I was trying to do doesn't work. Let me yeah, let me go here. Apparently I was trying to find some clues, and probably Midi Export or Midi format rather, I would prefer, of course, to know the whole specification. But I'm so not thrilled to dive into the bytes and stuff like that. And also, I don't really understand the normalization. As turned out, it's at least the library that I'm using reads normalized value. Basically, if let's say it's 127, it's supposed to be 1, and if it's 0, it's 0. And what it's between is normalized between 0 and 1. But yeah, it works in a weird way, because when I tested, it didn't normalize as I expected. Although I wouldn't consider myself as a complete noob in arithmetics. But maybe I am. This is why I didn't get it. But another thing that I noticed, that there is a velocity, which I even didn't recall. Okay, let me go here, github.com. Yeah. Yeah, basically it's in this project. And as I understand velocity, so it's also normalized between 0 and 1. But I'm not sure which value it should take. Alright, anyways, so what I would say is we can just add this velocity, which is, by the way, is really nice that it's attached to the node, since I don't have to deal with the grace node stuff. Although, of course, I still have in mind and in my dreams that I can simplify that logic, but I guess I don't know. No, we'll see. So I'm not quite sure what should I do. By the way, maybe I can. Yeah, maybe I can do it for the rest, because it's turned out that velocity is responsible for volume for some reason. At least I checked it in Python library, which is also can parse the MIDI file. And it's sometimes when I search something, I get lost in different links and I can find something interesting. Yeah. Okay, so as far as I know that okay, not here, but okay, so is this thing is used only here? Not exactly. So yeah, what should I do? I think for performance, it's quite nice to have this here, but I really want to try writing logic for rests through the for the velocity. But on the other hand, I don't understand that it's not necessary to go through all the logic for rests. So it kind of makes sense. Anyways. But again, I think I can just return 0 here, right? Because it doesn't matter. I'll comment this thing for a sec. And then probably okay, that's the measure rest. And let's go at velocity. I think it's spelled like this. Let's put it 0. And let's run all the tests. By the way, I think that we can for a sec leave this thing here. But for measure rests we can do this, and just let's see if it works, because I'm not quite sure. Yeah, of course there are a couple fail tests, but yeah, all of them of course about measure rests. So let's see. All right. Yeah, apparently velocity is responsible for volume. That's extremely entertaining thing. Alright, so I think we can do here the same thing. And what's more interesting is that by the way, do I have this information? I don't have here, but yeah, I have this attached to the node, so it means that if, let's say, so yeah, I think that we can remove this thing as well. And yeah, probably we should consider other stuff. Just for consistency, where did I add this velocity thing? Right after octave. Yeah, makes sense, I guess. Or does it? Yeah, let's leave timings at the end. Okay, so if it's rest, then it's 0. Otherwise, yeah, we'll create the other function, but let's leave it like 0.5. Yeah. Makes sense. And of course here for the tied nodes. So yeah, I'm not gonna update all the tests because although there would fail now, but I'm probably just gonna write some logic immediately for velocity, I guess. At least for yeah, we'll see. Maybe I will update tests. Okay, they fail for every media output. Okay, let's hear the difference. An example of okay, it's not been loaded completely. Yeah, that's concerning because I didn't expect that it would yeah. All right, just let's listen and see. Yeah, I can clearly hear that the volume is not up to, but let's say not like this. Let's go like this. Let's run the tests again. Oh, now we see that for the most part the default is 1, which is interesting. Okay, let's listen. All right. Now let's go back. But how does it affect the timing? That's extremely interesting. Maybe it's just a little error which rounds the numbers quite in an interesting way. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's even nicer to listen with such velocity. Wow. Yeah, the quality is increased significantly. That's good news, but on the other hand, I truly don't understand how I would apply other effects through the control changes. Because I don't think they work, or maybe I'm just... yeah, whatever. So, yeah. Okay, let's reload. And of course, I think all of them are failing. Should I update them? Yeah, not quite sure. Yeah, I definitely need to create a function which calculates the velocity for the current node. And once I create that function, I can update it just in case. And we'll go from there. I'm not quite sure which default value I should choose. Probably I would choose 0.85 or stuff like that. And yeah, we'll see. Okay, so this one would be called velocity for node, because I'm attaching it to the node, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so the basic thing would be a function. On input we got simple node. So if node is rest, when we're just returning 0. If yeah, otherwise we're just returning 0.85, which is default velocity. Yeah, that should be enough. Let's go here. Let's go. I mean, it's quite nice that I can fix, or rather solve the problem of dynamics. I think even quite easily, compare what I would have through the control changes. But on the other hand, it's just quite concerning that none of the effects that I applied worked. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Velocity for not require. Okay. By the way, maybe I should maybe I should attach this thing like this. I don't know how, but somehow, right? As I attached octave and other interesting stuff. What else? Yeah, I think here it's quite obvious because I'm not doing anything magical. And yeah. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so apparently I lost the place where, like, oh, okay, I found it, and again I lost it. Okay. Is it before or after? All right. Velocity for node. Velocity. Yeah, this is the problem, that we got the same value. What can I say? Calculated velocity for node. Yeah, I need to make it more consistent. I need to come up with the rule. Maybe naming functions as nouns is not the best idea, but maybe it is. I don't know. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Now let's run the tests and see. I think it should be alright. Yeah, let's go for the example again. Not this thing. Okay. Yeah, maybe it's quite high. Let's put it 75. Let's go for this thing. It's quite difficult to find a balance, but maybe this is one. Yeah, I think it's more pleasant to listen to this piece. Anyways, yeah, I quite like it. Now let's go and restart the server, and from there we can add more functions, more logic into the velocity thing. So I need to think about how I would approach this. Yeah, apparently for crescendos and diminuendos, I still need auras. Aura is something I call as a state for certain things, like, I don't know, octave signs, key signatures, stuff like that. And for dynamics, I think we got the same thing as for tempos, by the way. And yeah, we also got some, I don't know how to say this, some progressions for octave signs and etc. So yeah, I need to think about it, and I'll be back quite soon. Alright, so I think I realized one interesting thing is that I don't think it will be possible just to attach velocity to the node. I mean, of course, it will be possible to calculate it here, like octave or pitch or other things. But the main point is that, like, I think I still would need some time frames because most probably when I specify the dynamics, I specify them for yeah, it's a good question whether it's acceptable to specify the dynamics for different voices even. I even don't know how it would be performed on the piano, but maybe there are some other instruments where it makes sense. Or for example, like when one voice is a singing voice where dynamics goes in a different direction. Yeah, anyways, I still need to support it because it can be written in score. And but it might not. So in that case, it will be applied for the whole stave. Alright. And also, what should I do when the certain note on the next stave or on the previous stave? Should I apply this thing as well? Yeah, I think I should. I should prioritize, of course, the dynamic attached to the stave. Okay, first of all, let's update all the tests. Yeah, I think they're all correct. I'm just gonna update them. Okay, so some reason. Oh, yeah, I think I need to sign in. Or rather, create a new account. By the way, this thing works only locally, of course. In real production application, I'm sending email, real email. So there is no such thing, huh? How it's called? I mean, it's called sign up, but yeah, it's weird. Okay. All right. No, I guess I can update it. It's much faster than for the CLI, but the reason why I don't have the button update all tests, although it'd be sometimes extremely convenient, is because I want to prevent myself from trusting the whole process too much, right? And I think, philosophically speaking, it's correct approach. Yeah, it's gonna take a while, but it's like a meditation. I can think about other stuff. Yeah, apparently I need to create time frames for dynamics. Yeah, because there is no other way to detect in multiple voices the same things. Yeah, most likely. Also, I'm not quite sure about the format, but yeah. All right. Now let's run the tests one more time. Okay, some of the tests haven't been updated. Quite a few. Let's try again. Awesome. All right. Now they're all passing. Yeah, the amount of tests are not quite high for Midi because not everything has been implemented, but yeah, I'm getting there. And the coverage for Midi Export is quite high at the moment. All right, so I think the quite interesting would be to take a look at the how it's called tempo, I think, stuff like that. Yeah. Alright. Tracks for each staff and instrument. Tuplet values, aura. Okay. Alright, so there are two case scenarios when users specify the velocity or rather dynamics for multiple voices. Even it doesn't make musically sense for some instruments. Still, if it's possible, I would do it. All right, so in that case, we need to take into the account that specification for the voice. Otherwise, we need to consider only stave dynamic. So most certainly I need to create Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. So if we take a look at toplet values, for example, um, how they have been implemented. That's interesting because I'm not splitting in time frames like instruments or similes or even indicators for octave sign endings, which is quite weird name. But yeah, let's see how it works. Because for me, like tuplets are quite similar in behavior as dynamics because they connect multiple units in the same voice. All right. Yeah, apparently we're using it primarily for the duration. This one is quite interesting. Okay, yeah, this thing is also has been attached to the type frames in a not direct but still in some sort of way. Should I invent a wheel or just follow the previous logic? I don't know. Okay, so let's go from here and create dynamics, but there is other stuff, like there are dynamics with progressions, right? Like crescendos, diminuendos. Should I combine those two things together with the single dynamics, or should I consider other things? Okay, let's just call it dynamics. Yeah, for some reason I call it aura. Maybe it's not the best name. For each stave, split it, of course, in time frames. Dynamics hour for each stave and voice, right? For each voice on each stave. So we added two variables here. And I need to think about it. How should I approach this thing? Alright, so probably I need something like this, right? And also I think that there must be some sort of yeah, I need to take a look at the page schema. Dynamics change mark. And I think it's attached to the sound unit. It must be. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There is no other way. Yeah, dynamic change mark. Okay, fair enough, I guess. By those parameters I can somehow do this thing. Okay, so add time frame to indicate dynamic. And unit params. Should I stave index, type voice key? Yeah. Alright, so dynamics dynamic change mark, which can be, by the way, undefined. Probably I need some voice time, I guess. I need step voice key. I also need voice index. Or maybe even stave index rather. Yeah. Usually I specify stave index before, which is fair, I guess. And then what else should I specify? And of course I need to specify before that dynamics aura for each stave, and dynamics aura for each voice in each stave. In each or on each stave? Okay, let's leave it as it is. Okay. Let's set this function. All right, now what do I need to do? I need to do this thing. And I need to take something as an example. Yeah, sure, let's take a look at this thing. Yeah, I also need, of course, to consider this. Yeah. All right. Yeah, unit as grace, of course. That goes before. Alright, so we are doing this thing, of course, only and only when this thing is defined rather. Then yeah, I don't think I need this logic. What do I need? Of course, is type of dynamic. But also I think that I missed some interesting point. Because articulations and dynamic mark is one of them. Okay, so what should I do? I think it goes even before. All right. By the way, I haven't checked this logic. So let's say we have dynamic F and also crescendo from node 1 to node 2 with B, or how it goes. Starts with B. Yeah, goes up. But if so basically I would prioritize this thing because it's kind of like above, that's why. Yeah. Also, this is something I need to improve because, I mean, it looks okay, but I can create shorter versions. Alright, so stretch units by 4 times. Yeah. Alright. This thing happens, I'm gonna consider only this one. So alright, so this is an array. Name. By the way, can I do this? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's quite nice. All right, so. But I can do something like this, right? From node 1 to node 2. Yeah, and that also would work. Just checking. Sometimes it's useful. Okay, then this syntax makes more sense, I think. So someone writing a question, asking what I'm doing. I'm developing my product, and at the same time I'm streaming it. So that's simple as it is. Because I think I'm streaming, I think, is because it's most certainly forced me to focus more. So I cannot be distracted by anything else. Aside, of course, from answering questions. But, you know, other than that, I'm quite focused on what I'm doing, which is extremely positive. That is quite a good idea. Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm trying my best. Alright, so I need to figure out how I'm gonna do this, but at least I know that velocity works, and it can no well, if you want, you can ask as many questions as you want, so not big deal, considering the fact that average number of users watching me is equals to 0, so that's all right. Okay, so alright, so I need to figure out two things. So if articulations are defined, or rather if this thing is defined, then I don't need to go through the articulations. I can just return something here, not exactly sure, like some normalized number most probably. So let me take a look at the page schema. We got articulation params rather, and yeah, and what should I do first? Yeah, probably I need to command this thing for a sec and continue this thing. Okay, so so this is an array of objects, and if one of them is dynamic mark, should I consider first one or the latest one? Because in theory, user can specify as many as it wants. Yeah, I think there should be, how it's called, find last, or yeah, find last. That's quite a logical name. And okay, so probably I need to do something like this. Dynamic mark that's right. Yeah. All right, so I'm finding the last one, and if it's defined, then of course I can return some value. But yeah, I lost the map of dynamics and normalized MIDI. Not normalized, but rather MIDI dynamics, and that's something I need to get again from somewhere. And of course I need to attach those things to dynamics hours, etc. and etc. So yeah, that's not trivial for now. Okay, I need this map. Where do I get this map? Because I don't think I have defined it here. Most certainly I defined it somewhere else. Yeah, maybe in some of the fonts. Yeah, here we go. I'm defining some of the letters here, and I think I need to copy them somehow. Alright. But I think they must be defined somewhere else, right? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, there is no other way around. I need to copy just these things. Okay. Maybe I can split the screen. How I do this? Okay. And here I would open this file. Here, let's move it here. Okay. Dynamics mapped with MIDI velocities. Yeah. Then we go to the M. F. R. S. Z. Okay, now we go hardcore. Yeah, it's quite silly hard-coded, but you know, at least I have correct spacing between those letters, so it's all good. Although it looks extremely stupid, but sometimes it's worth it. Probably ChatGPT. Oh, okay. To be honest, I have no idea what you're doing. I'm just to see what is the work type for IT workers, because I'm gone my bachelor next week for IT information technologies, Norway. Oh wow, you're Norwegian. Sorry for the broken English. I mean, mine is not better, I guess. I also want to see thought process and generally work environment. Of course, I understand that you're far ahead on your field, though. Yeah. What's interesting about IT is that when I first started doing my internship, the main idea was just, I will apply for a job or internship in some company, and we'll try to figure out, some best practices that professionals have, and I will inherit them. I will improve my skills, and will be much better developer. And of course, I learned a lot of stuff. I'm not saying that. First of all, of course, I was exposed to the technologies like version control. What else? Yeah, some frameworks, some ideas, but I realized that most of them is not something I would use in my personal projects. And what most people call, best practice is not necessarily considered as a best thing by me. Maybe I'm quite unique in that sense, but when I started learning programming, I started to learn it by myself. And, when you go through the process of learning independently from other people's opinion, you develop your own opinion. I mean, you have no choice. Of course, you read some articles, but you try to you try to be more focused on documentation rather than some, I don't know, Uncle Bob's books, stuff like that. And you're trying to kind of like develop your own patterns, your own ideas on how you should develop the software. And when you enter the company which does some stuff unnecessarily more complex or unnecessary, there are a lot of orthodoxy in what people do in software companies. Like, for example, object-oriented programming, which is a cool thing if you know how to use it, but is complete disaster in 99% of the time. And what I learned is you should always listen to your own experience, because it all depends on how talented you are. Of course, if you feel like you feel like other people know better, then probably you're right. You should listen to them and try to acquire as much knowledge as you can. But if you really believe that your ideas are not worse or even in some sense better, then of course you should you should stand by your opinion. Of course, it's not possible in big companies or even in small companies, because you cannot argue with the majority of people. That's why I enjoy developing my own product, although of course I'm working as a software developer in in a regular company. So I mean, there is no way you can just force your ideas in the company. It's always good to be humble at the start. I mean, in the sense that you always have to learn, that's for sure. But for me, being software developer is to trying to find the simplest solution possible. That's the quality that I value the most in software developers. When you can create as less as possible abstractions to solve the problem, and when you really try to solve it. And because when you add some layers of abstractions, all you're doing is adding up layers of abstractions. You're not necessarily solving the problem itself. And this is what I feel most people do, like with those dependency injection patterns, or with object-oriented programming, or maybe even with on first glance simple patterns like singletons. But yeah, I don't know. It's a quite complex subject to discuss, but being humble, of course. I mean, it all depends how you consider this word. Being humble, that in a sense that you always try to learn new things, then sure. But when you feel that something should be done better, you probably, at least you to yourself, because you're not going to prove anything to the team of developers, like some radical ideas. But at least for yourself, you should be confident in what you're doing. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, there was also one thought that I forgot what I was going to say, but nonetheless, I think in general, best programmers are trying to do their own products, although it's extremely difficult to have a time for that. Yeah, it's quite nice that you're from Norway, because I'm pretty sure you have really strong university and quite good professionals there. Although I don't know that much about. I don't know any single programmer from the Norway, like famous one, Of course, northern countries considered more advanced in those things. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that Norway has a lot of talented programmers. Also, I'm not quite, I have limited knowledge about all the programming languages and all the communities, so I might not know something, so it's all good. Yeah. Oh, I thought that Finnish people from... I don't know if you consider Finnish people as Scandinavians, but yeah, from North Europe, I think Finnish people are more advanced. At least more tech companies I know from Finland rather than Sweden, but maybe yeah, maybe you know better. Yeah, I mean it all depends on the field. I feel like in Norway, there are um, more companies related to the government and like yeah, I don't know how it's called, but to some real applications of software, right? Not like another blockchain thing, but like useful thing for the people, something that related to industrial things, stuff like that. So at least it's my feeling, because in USA and Southern Europe, of course, it's tourism. The first thing, maybe some restaurants, some hotels, stuff like that, that needs most of the software. But beside that, I don't think there is much here. But yeah, oil companies, yeah, for sure. I mean, the same goes to Azerbaijan, I think, where I was born. I'm not living in Azerbaijan, but I know that um, a lot of businesses are tightly related to the oil companies, especially the exceptional IT workers. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's continue. By the way, about the thought process, uh, yeah, usually I don't like to think out loud. I don't know. I think it seems like crazy when I speak to myself almost most of the time during the streams, but yeah. But I feel like it helps me for some reason when I stream to talk out loud. But I don't think that that the thought process of most programmers are the same. So you might be misguided by me. Okay, so we're going through a lot of properties. So the key here is the dynamic value, and the value is an object which consists of Unicode. It's just arbitrary field which it's not encoded in this editor, but if you copy to some if it's related to some if I can copy this in the editor, it will present itself as a real symbol. And these points, of course, are SVG pass points, where I put them and they can be rendered as SVG element. And as you see, each parameter in the pass is correlated with interval between staff lines or stave lines. This is the interval between those two lines, and the bigger the line, of course, the bigger the elements will be. So that's the main idea. It's quite primitive way of I don't know, of expressing those things, but yeah. As I said, this is the simplest solution, and if it works, it works. All right, so Yeah, there are a lot of values which are related to the dynamics, but hopefully I'm almost done copying these things. Yeah, that's about it, I think. All right. Oh, interestingly, I changed something here. Yeah, I'm not gonna save it. Okay. Oh, wait a second. What happened? Okay. I thought that. Oh no! Don't tell me that I haven't saved this. What happened? Okay. That sucks. I need to do this again. That's super weird. I thought that I saved this thing. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, it's all right. So I don't need to do this. Okay. So. Okay, so that's about it. And now I will probably use the help of GPT. Okay, so I'm not quite sure that it will give me the most precise answer, but attach values to following map where value is where key is dynamic letter and how it's called and the value would be Midi velocity, I think. I'm not quite sure, but let's see. Yeah, something like this. Let me see. Yeah, it seems to me it's about right. Yeah, awesome. All right. I've been research the work positions and their requirement in Oslo, capital of Norway. Yeah, I know. No worries. They tend to ask for Azure, SQL, and .NET certifications while I'm studying. Or should I just work on my own projects and present those on resume? Speak out your mind. I mean, it really depends on which person you are. I mean, if you're just try. I mean, look, ask yourself a quite simple question. If you weren't a programmer, right? If you were just, I don't know, some even blue shirt worker, would you spend some time programming, like in your free time outside of work? Another question would be, would you be interested in opening your own business or your own company? If the answer is yes, I would say you should definitely try to create your own project while you can. I don't know how much how many years. I mean, by the way, I think you can do it like yeah, you can develop your own product and work somewhere else. I think it's totally fine. Like a side hustle, it's always nice. So don't worry about those technologies because people who would hire you will understand. I mean, they understand you just out of university, and most probably you're not gonna start as a senior programmer. You'll start as a junior programmer. Just just focus on the job when. Oh, I'm gonna start the bachelor next week. I mean, then for sure just try to develop your own product. I mean, if you wanna work at the same time while you study, then sure you can do it simultaneously. Although I would prefer, I mean, if financially you can afford to just study, of course I would most certainly focus on studying rather than trying to work somewhere because you cannot replace the education because in university, at work you will just learn technologies, but in university you will get most probably the knowledge or critical thinking which would allow you to create those technologies or create alternative technologies. So, I mean, if you can afford to just study, if you have support of your parents, I would just focus totally on studying because you cannot replace it in the future because you will not have time. You would need to go to work, and I don't know if you wanna open your own stuff like business or company stuff like that or anything kind of like side hustle then you will be extremely limited in how much time you get. But that being said, while you're studying, it's not necessarily to rely completely on what you've given what you're given at university because let's be honest, no matter how professional your professors are or how many knowledge they possess, it's always nice to expand that field and try something that you might like. I mean, try different things, and I would probably I would probably I would act from what I want to build. If I want to build a game, I would learn more technologies or more related stuff to the game industry. I would most certainly be focusing on physics. What do you have in mind when you say expand? I mean, just be curious about different things. You never know what you might need. I can tell my story, right? In university, I was learning a math, and also I was learning informatics for like I don't know system programming or stuff like that. And interestingly, I really needed after my university the knowledge that I got from in the math field, like cubic curves or I don't know stuff like that, splines, gluing splines and stuff like that. So the ability to read, I don't know, paper about math is extremely was useful to me. And if I was just relying on education system, I would probably not be that strong in that, because of course we had assignments, but those assignments are, I don't know, are not that advanced. So you always should push yourself a little bit more, a little bit dive a little bit deeper in any subjects. So, and try to get as many, I don't know, try to cover as many fields as you can, because like the project that I'm working on is domain specific language for musician, where you type some stuff and you can render the music score. And if I didn't know music, I wouldn't be able to create this application. If I didn't know mathematics, I would definitely wouldn't be able to do this thing, because the music contains different sort of curves and splines, and you need to be able to draw them precisely. And to be honest, when I open my I don't know, some other competitors and their software in that regard really suck compared to what I achieved. And knowing the mathematics for achieving this stuff is extremely was important to me. If I didn't know LaTeX, right, the thing that was invented, I think in 80s or 70s by Donald Knuth, who invented markdown for documents, I wouldn't be able to, to realize this idea. And of course, if I didn't know how to create web application from the scratch, I wouldn't be able to create this web application. So, I mean, the amount of knowledge that you need might be extremely high, and it shouldn't. I mean, just try to. Yeah, here's the thing, right? When you try to come up with some idea, really worthy idea that nobody done before, what are your chances are if you know only one field? I don't think you have really big chances to create something meaningful out of that. But if you have multiple fields and you know how to intersect them, how to combine them, how to create something meaningful out of those things, then you have higher probability of creating really unique idea. And of course, you're extremely lucky if you can do it. I mean, let's be honest, it's not. People say that ideas worth nothing, but ideas worth nothing if those ideas are, I don't know, next cryptocurrency or I don't know, next trendy thing that everyone does or everyone pretends doing. Then sure, because you need to expand other fields. You need to explore people's struggles and to find a solution to how to help them, because that's the biggest challenge. And of course, our capitalistic system works in a way that unfortunately you either work for someone who has this idea or you just must create your own. But so you worked as a bioengineering before and you're planning to work there as a part-time. I mean, it's I think it's an extremely interesting thing. I also was thinking about bioengineering because I don't know, I had some crazy ideas on how I can I don't know, like from the movies when you can create a biological eye or some other organs and replace them. I'm pretty sure that there is an advancement in that field, but yeah, I think it's extremely interesting field, and if you can combine it with software engineering, and I mean, it will be awesome. Yeah, because knowledge, you shouldn't be afraid of knowing multiple things. If you're extremely good in one field, it's awesome, but um, yeah, I mean, it all depends. Of course, you can hire people if you have money who possesses some other knowledge in other fields. But those people, how would you control them? Not control, but how would you validate their knowledge? You have to have some sort of understanding at least what's important in their field, and what they should be focusing on, because if you just rely on other people, it wouldn't necessarily guarantee the success of your product, whatever you're planning to do. And you must be extremely lucky if you have right people beside you, right? And I mean, you gotta have financial power to do so. So, but if you're on your own, then sure. And also, I think when you work in some companies or with really talented people, you can expand your network. Like, you know, you can expand people relations. So yeah, and you can develop. Yeah, you can create a company together with someone. So it's always nice. So you worked there for a while, but now you feel like you need something interesting. So you like IT journal from young age and gaming. So, oh, okay. So you ended your current job. I got it, and you decided to go for university for IT. Interesting. How old are you, by the way? So yeah, many people go to information technologies, which is trendy thing. 26. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. In general, I think it's always nice to learn some new stuff, whatever it is, and learning new skills is always interesting. So that's really good that you decided to go for new stuff. I mean, most people think that software development is extremely difficult thing, but it's not the software development that's extremely difficult. It's what's behind this software development. Because software development in vacuum is just writing the text and the basic logics. It's not that difficult. The most difficult part is what you need to program. If it's a math related thing, then you need to have good knowledge in math, and then of course you need to be able to express these ideas in any programming language. If it's bioengineering, the same goes for that as well. Whatever field you take, you need to be able to have domain knowledge and of course just basics of programming. That'll be enough. If you have critical thinking, you can in fact easily learn how to program, because it's really just writing logic and text. That's about it. Most of the things are implemented for you, like memory management, although it also of course depends. If you're gonna create games, you need to worry about that as well, but no worries. It's already too late. I'm gonna get some sleep, and yeah, because I need to wake up early. I'm quite happy with the progress that I made, because yesterday I had a lot of struggles with Midi Export in regard of dynamics, but at least now I have clear vision that what I need to do in terms of velocity and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just gonna copy this map because I believe it's more or less correct. It doesn't have to be necessarily some exact numbers, but approximately I think it makes total sense. And yeah, I'm gonna use this thing and normalize between 0 and 1, which is just dividing by 127. And yeah, I'm gonna create those structures that I need, and we'll see from there. So yeah, I think I'm quite happy with the progress, and most certainly I will continue tomorrow. It's already too late. Unfortunately, I don't have that much time as I wish, but on the other hand, I don't have that much things to do like in this project. It's just Midi Export is some extra feature that I need to implement, and yeah, if we take a look at my plan, so those things are already done, and those things are just part of the things that I implemented, and those things are not implemented yet. There are not so many things are left, but those are much harder to implement what was before, or at least at the first glance. So yeah, I'll be focusing, and hopefully by the end of the August I can finish this thing. So yeah, was nice chatting you, and yeah, thanks. It's always nice to have some conversation with different people from different countries, and yeah, thanks a lot, and hopefully I will continue tomorrow. Thank you, and bye.